do it. But it's just not. The coca leaf has too much history of destruction for it to be um, looked at in a good light in any form or fashion. I mean, I'm telling you what's really going on in the world. It's coming down to the battle. What side are you on? You on the good side or the bad side? Okay, you're on the bad side. Then you're going to go to war with the good side. You're not going to be able to say you're with God and that you got a relationship with God and you're over there selling drugs, hustling, and all of this. We're coming down to, and listen closely, this is a spiritual event. This is not, oh, my thoughts. This is a spiritual event where it's coming down to whose side are you on? God's side or Satan's side? And we already know it's a fixed fight. We already know that. We win. God's side wins. It's a fixed fight. The other side is just waiting for when they die. Pretty much. If they have any real spiritual experience, that's all they could be doing. If you lying to yourself and thinking by some fluke that you can defeat the God side, it's not. You can't defeat God's side. He's too powerful, too mighty. And you're just human. You're finite, minute. Okay? Go look up those words, finite and minute. You might know finite, I don't think you know what minute means. Okay, but just realize, man, that's what we are. It's not. It ain't no in between. You actually have three forces. No, you have four forces in the world. There's not the light side and the dark side. You have four forces in the world. You got good people and God's people. That's two forces already. Let them not be mistaken for the same thing or one and the same. They're not one and the same. You got some good-hearted people out here. They mean well by society. They mean well by their neighbor. They mean well by every element of the world. They even, try to protect the environment, everything. Those are good-hearted and good people. And then you have God's people that work for the kingdom of God, that's working like angels to pull people into the afterlife in the right way. Pull them, help them to get to heaven. That's God's people. Good-hearted people don't necessarily care about that. They don't necessarily think about it. And so it's not their purpose necessarily, per se. It is really not. So that's two forces already. Good and God's people are not one and the same. They can join each other. They can have an alliance at times, but they're not one and the same. And they're two different forces. Now that's two. The other two are bad people and evil people. So that's four different forces. You got some people, they bad, they're not good. They rob, they steal, they cheat, they kill. But they're not evil. They're not wicked. It gets tricky, I know. Because some people don't know the difference between good and God's people, bad and evil people. So you see why God's people are over here because you can't possibly see everything that we see. We see it all. We see all three other forces. Good people can only really see bad people. They go at it. And good people, we let God destroy the evil people with bad intentions, crooked intentions. That's evil. They don't have to be killers. They don't have to be violent. They just have to have bad intentions. That's what makes a person evil. They don't have to necessarily be a killer. You got soldiers that go to war, but they're not evil. They're not evil people. You got soldiers that's on the good side that will kill people. And you got soldiers on God's side that will neutralize targets. You got people that's bad, rob, steal, cheat, and kill. And then you have evil people. And that doesn't mean that they're violent. That doesn't mean that they're soldiers with a mission in an operation. It doesn't mean that that's them. But they have bad intentions. You know what I'm saying? And that's basically what it boils down to when it comes to an evil person. A bad person may not necessarily have bad intentions. They may just be a loser. Robbing, stealing, trying to survive, just the way they've been taught. But evil is intentional. It's somebody's mind that's fixated on bad situations and causing harm and misfortune to people. That's evil people. You know what I mean? And so you got 4 different forces in the world. I don't allow somebody to pull me into their force. If you're not with God's side, then I don't know what to tell you. We're at the top of the food chain. And now you know. It ain't bad people. It ain't evil people. It ain't good people. Good people, they failed you. Why good people haven't told you 44 states marrying children? It took Christians. You don't even like Christians. It took me being a Christian to tell you about your country. And you're supposed to be more sophisticated than us. I thought the Christians was the ones like the Quakers, right? Although we're not Quakers. I thought we was unsophisticated. I thought they thought we were unprogressive. But you're still lacking information. But I'm less progressive than you are. Okay. Uh-huh. Imagine that. I got more information than you about who your country is, but you're more progressive. Hey, I'm just keeping it 100. I'm just keeping it 100. I'm telling you stuff that you don't know, and you can't give it to the good side. No, I'm a Christian. I'm led by God. And you got all these good-hearted people that you respect. Yeah, you give it up. But what they teaching you? How have they changed your country? How? They haven't changed your country, have they? That's what I'm saying. Then you find that it's a Christian. I would guess it any day of the week. Us before anyone else. Now you find a Christian that revealed to you what's going on in your country. Not your leaders, not your politicians. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Not these witches and warlocks, all these people with intuition, all of y'all. You got so much intuition. You got so much voodoo or hoodoo or Santeria. Right? You got Santeria, but you couldn't tell us what's going on. That's all I'm saying. Where's it at? That means you know what it means? What you fail to accept is that we are on top of the food chain. What other way can you look at it? All these people boasting of who they are spiritually, boasting of what they are spiritually, with no results. of penetrating their culture and their community. Once again, the proof is in the pudding. You can have all the intuition. You can have that. What has that done for your country? I'm talking to the spiritual, the voodoo part now. The voodoo, hoodoo, Santeria, um, juju, all that other stuff. What has it done for your community? Now you got COVID-19. Now you need something to happen. Yes, you do. Because if you think this is going away, you dreaming. This ain't going nowhere. And you have no effect on it at all. Look at it. Look at it for what it is. Pretty sure somebody tried, but you ain't got no effect on this. Call it like I see it. But yet everybody's arrogant. That's why the number one killer of Americans is going to be arrogance. Whether it's voodoo, hoodoo, Santeria, drug dealers, everything in between, it's going to be arrogance that ends this country. Because at the end of the day, y'all haven't changed anything. That's from the entertainers, the famous people, they just keep taking money from you. New songs, new music, new this, new that. And look, I ain't got to point out nobody. You know who you be watching on TV. You know exactly who I'm talking about. But what they doing for you? How have they changed your community? Yeah, you need people that you support to change things for you. I'm going to say that again. You need people that you support to change things for you. That's what you need. If you're supporting them, financially speaking, as far as views, even on YouTube, views, even anywhere, any kind of numbers, any kind of hits, any kind of number situation, if you're supporting people and they're not changing your community, you're being played. It's give and take in any relationship. You just didn't see it that way. You seen it as a fan. You're a fan, right? But they have power over your community. They have power over your culture. You got to start looking at it. This is what it is. They have power over your culture. They have power over your communities. So you got to start even electing people that are musicians. You got to start electing them. You got to start electing actors. You got to start electing all these people, because if you put them in power and make them successful and they don't have a give and take relationship with you, you've been played. It should be give and take. Who's giving you the money? Who's making you successful? You're not doing it yourself. You have to have a consumer. You have been their consumer. Right? Okay, so even if you do have your own ideas, someone has to buy your product, right? That's going to be your people. Okay, so why can't you support us and do this and do that and do this? That's what I'm saying. Now, some people, they've proven that they've done certain things for the community. They don't have to do no more. But man, there's like 70% to 60 to 70% that is not a give and take relationship. They're taking, and you're not getting anything. That's being played to me. I mean, it doesn't have to always be monetary, but you would think when they sitting on billions of dollars, it would be. You would think the support would be eventually monetary. And then you get even more money. See, that's why they ain't got that much. That's why they ain't got to the trillions yet. You know why they ain't got to the trillions of dollars? Because you ain't gave back properly. Therefore, we're still in the same situation. If you had leaders that had millions and millions of dollars and they invested back, that would come back. They would get a return on that, and they would start working to being a trillionaire. They're not going to make it there because everyone's hogging and hoarding. And they don't understand the dynamics and the art of give and take in this situation. Yeah, they're your fans, but you need to be building up their community in more than one ways and speaking for their rights, speaking for the American community. You know somebody who should be doing this, telling you 44 states is marrying children, are your leaders that you're supporting. That's the one. It's instead of that, it's me, someone you're not supporting. Ain't that how it always work out? I mean, it's just life. But you sitting up there supporting other people that ain't loving you and don't care. Could care less as long as they're getting that bag. That's all they care about. And unfortunately, the bag ain't gonna matter too much more longer when you got this situation with COVID, because now everyone is gonna have to chill out and dining here, chill out and dining there, not going here for vacation, not going there for vacation. You're not going to be able to do things that you once did. And now, money is not even going to matter as much as it once did. It's not going to matter. If you can't enjoy it, then you're going to stop doing drastic things for it. And then that's going to be the collapse. That's a collapse in itself. You can't enjoy money, man. What are we doing? What are we doing? If you can't enjoy money, what will you be doing? Half of these people out here, they ain't on God's side. So you can't be like me if it ain't in you. Loving God, spend time with God, that's life for you. That's what you expect to be for eternity. You're not like that. So what you gonna do when money loses its value? People gonna go crazy. And that's where we're headed, because COVID-19 is not leaving. If you have not noticed, COVID has affected finances. It has affected the monetary system. It has affected monies in different ways. Streams of income are being affected by COVID. In fact, some people lost their businesses during 2020. They lost their businesses. Can't get it back. That small little business that they started, all gone down the drain. So already, that's a perfect example. When they did all them closing of when the stuff was totally shut down, they some people didn't make it back up above water, as we know. A lot of those little small businesses, all going down the drain. So already COVID has affected the monetary system. Small businesses have suffered. It's already happening. People's monies have already been affected. I mean, playtime is over. Playtime is over, man. And for people that like to play games and you like to involve yourself with useless activities, you about to go through something very, very dark. Because at the end of the day, a lot of you Americans are not as ready for darkness as you think you are. You can't even go 3 hours without power. I lived on the streets homeless. I'm already ready. I lived under a bridge. through all weather, raining, all that cold. I'm already ready. I lived in the snow, homeless with snow. So, I mean, I know I look young, but I can go out to the elements and be good. I can go out into the wilderness and survive. I've already done it. It's too late. And once you get a stomach solid like that, once you got a stomach that's solid like that, you can survive anything. Homeless people can survive anything. When you've been in the wilderness in America, it speaks for itself. If this all becomes wilderness, the homeless people are the ones going to survive the best. All these rich people, all these people riding around in Bentleys and double R's and need Gucci bags every 6 months. You know, I feel sorry for them people. Because as soon as it goes all the way and you can't flex, you can't, go on the Instagram, you can't go on the gram, you can't do Facebook, you can't go on YouTube and be comfortable, you can't watch nothing on TV, all that's gone. Now, we're going to see who's who. Because I done been through it. I have been through it by myself. No one else with me. It's one thing to be homeless on the streets with a little buddy. You know what I'm saying? Or in some cases, I've seen homeless couples. But homeless by yourself makes a man or a woman out of anybody. That's one thing they do have is survival skills. Wow, that's another thing that the American community don't have is survival skills. They can't survive. They don't get their favorite food. They depressed. Your phone leaves. What you gonna do? I'm talking about everything is dark, no power, gone. You can't dial out. You can't talk to nobody. What you gonna do? I'm hitting the streets immediately. ASAP, a sizzle. I'm hitting the streets immediately, leaving all this behind. Go try to find what's going on. And the rest of these people out here, you're gonna be sitting ducks, just waiting for somebody to rob, rape, kill you, or whatever. See, when all this hits the fan, you're gonna have to be mobile. You ain't gonna be able to sit in no house. They're gonna be raiding houses, raiding apartments, raiding condos, whatever you live in. They're gonna be raiding that. Everyday people gonna be raiding it, not the government. Everyday people. You're gonna have the biggest problem with community, and if you're not mobile, you're gonna lose. And unfortunately, some people are just gonna give up because they can't be mobile. Their legs might be messed up. They may, be too big, heavy set to be on the streets, and just, they may just give up. They may have all their health and everything and just give up. Just from the uncertainty. You got to begin to, I see there's Christians that they're preparing for it. And that's the difference between good people and spiritual people. Good people want to try to figure out, well, it's a way out. It'll get better. How? How's it going to get better? When even if we get vaccines for COVID and everybody get vaccinated, you can't stop crazy people. They crazy now. You haven't noticed the difference? You have not noticed the difference in the people. They're not going back to normal. They're not going back to normal. They done lost their minds. So that's what you really need to be looking at. You need to be looking at the fact that it's not going back to normal. As far as sane, sound-minded people that are not killing their own kids, These people done got so crazy in this country, and you really can't blame anybody. You really can't. Everybody's responsible for what they do. These people killing their own kids. Ain't nobody putting their knife to their neck and making them do that. The environment and the climate might be there, but you, at the end of the day, still have free will to do what you want to do. And these people up here still talking to you about kids. And every time you turn on the news, you talk about, you seeing somebody losing them. You seeing people losing their kids. Their own kids, killing their kids. Not losing them, killing them. And what we're talking about at this point, going back to normal. I think that in the haze of COVID, a lot of people lost it, mentally speaking. It's people that are smart like me and you that knows this is not going away. Here we are 2 years deep, really the third year. If you count every year affected by it, this is the third year. 2020, 2021, and here we are in 2022. All 3 of those years were affected by COVID in the form of death. Death from COVID. So we're in the third year where people talk about going back to normal still. That's good people. They're full of hope. They think things can get better. They try to keep a sunshine kind of perspective. But good spiritual people realize, no, I'm a good person, but I don't think this is going away. We have deeper discernment into the future that good people just refuse to have. They refuse to have it. They refuse to have it. So, you know, a lot of people are just going to die off, man. And you can have the best intentions by humanity, but at the end of the day, man, I mean, what you have going on is a rabbit community. It's a rabbit, like they got rabies. And what do you do with animals that have rabies? Unfortunately, you can want all the best. It could be your most beloved friend and comrade. But if it has rabies, it doesn't know you anymore. It doesn't love you anymore. That's what this country is becoming. So all you can is rabid people, right or wrong. They're killing their own kids. How much more rabid can you be? So what that means is, man, you can't even, you can say what you know. How can you say you really want to save people that's killing their kids? I mean, look at it for what it is. People killing their own community, killing their kids. Now they're down to killing their kids. That to me seems like a rabid community, like a zombie community. All you can do, man, is say, it's just time to go. Because they're not going to change. What's going to change them? Let's be real. See, that's the difference between good people and spiritual people. Let's be real. What's going to change them? Let's be real about it. What's going to change them? What's going to have to happen? You already had COVID. That wasn't a wake-up call. The death toll in America is 1 million. That didn't wake them up. So what is it going to take? You already got death every day. It's over. They didn't take the heed to the wake-up call. I think things could have changed the first year of COVID, but people were too, they just went crazy. Instead of becoming better human beings, if you notice, during COVID, people became worse. And that was their choice. Survival of the fittest. Some people became better. But for the most part, American culture became worse. It's like people just gave up and just started doing stuff. So That's kind of like a rabbit to me, like a rabbit. People with rabies, bugged out, killing your kids. It don't get no worse than that, man. I mean, really. I mean, what else? Yeah, it's like, and that ain't gonna stop. That ain't gonna ever stop. Like, how? How? See, spiritual people, we're realists. We're realists. While some good people are not realists. A realist to me is a person that looks at life through the eyes of reality. They look at life through the eyes of reality. We want the best, but are bracing ourselves for the worst. But some good people, they so optimistic it doesn't even make sense. It's gonna change. Things are gonna get better. Here we are in our third year of COVID. Multiple strains, different subvariants. You explain to me how it's gonna get better, and that's where I am real. I stay in reality. I don't deal with superstition and just saying it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better, and you really don't know how it's gonna get better, and all you see is signs of it getting worse. And people are getting crazier and crazier, which means how can God be with this country when they're killing their kids? You don't think God cares about that? That some kid died yesterday or this month or last month? You don't think that affects this world?